going on, people? It's your boy Jess coming to you guys one more time, not with another movie review. Well, not with a movie review, I guess. Um, it's 2019, or it's the end of 2019 at this point. The new year is upon us. We're about to go to 2020. But before we go into 2020, I would like to go over my top 10 list of movies for 2019. And that's the purpose of this video right now. I am going to go over what, in my opinion, were the top 10 movies of this year. And I already know, like, people are not going to agree with me. Everybody has, their own opinion, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But this is my top 10 list of movies for 2019. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. If you don't, if you agree with me, that's great too. Me and my wife already had some discussions. She didn't agree with a lot of my rankings. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot of them, but there were a few rankings that I had in my list that she didn't agree with. But it's not her list. It's my list. So since it's my list, I'm gonna do it my way. And yeah, it is what it is. So, any of these movies that are on this list, I highly recommend that you spend some kind of time within your day in the future just to take time out to watch these movies or whatever. They're worth the time, they're worth the money, they're worth the effort to go and participate in watching the movies or whatever. So, without further ado, well, almost without further ado, before I go into the top 10 list, I want to give some special recognition, some special honorable mentions, if you will, for some of the movies that didn't quite make the list. But maybe if the list was like a top 20 list, maybe they would have made the list, but they just couldn't break their top 10 barrier. So, special honorable mention, I want to first start off with Queen and Slim. Um, I already know that some people, particularly in the African American community, are going to be upset with me because I didn't put Queen and Slim in the top 10 list of 2019. Um, I'm sorry. Like, that's the whole purpose of Real Thoughts, in my opinion. I got to keep it real and I got to keep it honest. And honestly speaking, Queen and Slim was not one of the biggest movies of this year for me. It was a very entertaining movie. It just wasn't like it got boring on some parts. I just didn't honestly. Black and Blue was a better movie to me than Queen and Slim, but I do recognize that Queen and Slim brought out some very relevant points and very relevant topics as far as speaking out against police brutality and some of the things that's going on in our community in present day. So, special recognition to the movie Queen and Slim for that. But and it brought about a lot of conversations or whatever for people to have it at work or whatever. I'm sure everybody at work was talking about have you seen this movie and it was great or whatever. I can relate because blah 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 whatever. So special shout out to Queen and Slim, the film Queen and Slim for that purpose, but it just wasn't good enough to make the list. I'm sorry. Another movie I had to not make the list, but it was still worth an honorable mention was Good Boys. Good Boys was a very good comedy, but it just wasn't good busting comedy. It wasn't like fall out of your chair laughing type of comedy. It was just like these three boys just walking around and like having like these different experiences and being ignorant of what they're actually experimenting with and just seeing how they interact with certain like sexual toys or certain situations that they stumble across or whatever. But the movie itself, for it to be a comedy, for me, and I know comedy is very subjective. Like what I feel like may be funny may not be funny to someone else. I for one feel like Seinfeld is like one of the top like best sitcoms to ever hit TV. And I know some people just do not get Seinfeld. Like they just like Seinfeld is not funny. But comedy is subjective. I just didn't feel like Good Boys for me was gut busting funny. I chuckled, but I didn't. It wasn't Talladega Nights funny. So sorry, Good Boys didn't make it. Um, Alita Battle Angel. I love movies that are different, and Alita Battle Angel was definitely a different type of movie. It was mostly CGI. It was action packed. It had a good story. It just wasn't good enough to make the top 10 list. It was a good movie. I don't have much bad to say about it, but just with the heavy hitters that are on the top 10 list, it just couldn't break them out. So I'm sorry, A Little About Angel, it just wasn't there. Um, and I can also say the same thing with Terminator Dark Fate. Terminator Dark Fate did not make this list. And it sucks whatever. If I was gonna make like a top 12 list or something like that, it probably would have made the top 11. It probably would have hit the 11 or 12 spot or whatever. But it just couldn't. But Terminator Dark Fate definitely was a good movie. It was definitely one of the better Terminator movies. Um, I love Sarah Connor in that film. She made that movie for me. Shout out to Terminator Dark Fate. Um, and lastly, well, almost lastly, Captain Marvel. I know Marvel movie did not make the top 10. I know, but I can't. I just couldn't give it to Captain Marvel. I'm sorry. Um, it was nice seeing like the '90s stuff in the movie or whatever. And it was nice watching Captain Marvel being just like super overpowerful and everything, but it just wasn't a super entertaining movie for me. I'm sorry. It just once again, it probably I think Terminator Dark Fate and Captain Marvel probably would have been battling for the 11 and 12 spot or whatever, but not the top 10. I'm sorry. So and lastly, um, Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems was a pretty decent film, and I give it a lot of props. Like it was definitely one of Adam Sandler's best works. Um, but once again, just it had its flaws. It was a little all over the place and everything, and it was a little random and sporadic or whatever. And I just couldn't give it like I couldn't put it on the top 10 list. So sorry, Adam Sandler, but Uncut Gems was definitely a very good movie. So now that all of the preliminaries are out of the way, going into the top 10 list of movies for the year of 2019. Um, at the number 10 slot, I have to give it to the movie Brian Banks. Brian Banks was everything that it was meant to be. It was inspirational. It was motivated. It was a very feel good type of movie. Um, it highlighted some of the injustice. Well, some of the ways that the court system is unjust to African Americans, and sometimes a good guy just get caught up in a bad situation and he gets punished for it. But it's also about like never giving up and like no matter what's going on or whatever, you just keep going toward your dreams or whatever. It was just a great movie. Um, Not too much bad I could say about this film. I just had to put it in the top 10s, in the number 10 slot for that purpose. It was just a really good, feel good movie. And anytime you leave a movie feeling some type of way, and that's how I felt about 300, which I said in the movie review for Brian Banks. After I left 300, like I'm not a violent person, but I just wanted somebody to fight me. I was just like, somebody please fight me, cause I am a Spartan and I just want to like kick somebody off of a cliff. And this just like 300 just had that aggression and just like it was just in your face action and that's how you feel like not in a violent type of way, of course. But leaving Brian Banks, you just really felt really motivated to just really look at your life and be like, what's really holding me back from doing, what I really want to do, and like let me re-look at some things, and let me be remotivated to chase after my dream. So shout out to Brian Banks. I had to put there the number 10 slot, and going past Brian Banks at the number 9 spot, I have to give it to Don't Let Go. Don't Let Go, in my opinion, was a spectacular movie. I just got a chance to rewatch it over again over the holidays, and it was still just as great. In the movie, in my opinion, that is similar to the Butterfly Effect, which is, in my opinion, Ashton Kutcher's best work. If you haven't seen Butterfly Effect, check that out. It's kind of old, but it's still a great movie. But there are not a lot of movies that are written based on that type of storyline or whatever. So for that reason, because you don't see it every day, it still it feels different. It feels like a refreshing type of movie. It doesn't feel like the same type of action or the same type of drama that you see every other weekend at the movie theaters. This is definitely a movie that you probably haven't seen anything like it um, 5 years prior to it coming out or whatever. Like it stands alone alongside with Butterfly Effect, which came out years ago. But it's definitely a different type of movie. It was well written. Some surprising things happen or whatever. Some things you don't necessarily see coming. It was kind of unpredictable. Had great actors in this film. Um, this movie was just great. It even had a couple of funny scenes in the movie. So everything about this movie was just really good. I had to put it in the number 9 spot. So number 9 goes to Don't Let Go. Once again, if you haven't seen these movies, please check them out. Number 8, and this is where I get with the I come to the debates with me and my wife. My wife did not feel like that this movie should have been on the top 10 list. But once again, this is my top 10 list. So because this is my top 10 list, I have to put at the number 8 spot Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. This movie was really good. Um, it was different. It was an all CGI Marvel movie, and it came from a different type of story, different dealing with different type of Spider-Man, and they're and coming together in a collaboration for one particular mission. Um, it was like it was a CGI movie, but it was still like comic book CGI. So there were some parts of the movie where it had like literally the words "pow" and "bang" spelled out and whatever, like on some of the action scenes or whatever. So it was a different type of CGI. I love once again. I love anything dealing with originality and being different and stepping out the box, doing something that we don't always see every day, which is really what most of the movies on this list, um, how they got on this list, because I feel like that there was something about these movies that were different that put them in their own lane. And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was definitely one of those movies. It looked great. It had a great story, and I recently over the weekend, well not over the weekend, but over the holidays, I bought it on 4K during the Black Friday sale, and I was just like, well, let me just watch some of it just to see, how good it looks in 4K. And the movie was so good, I ended up like I was going into this just like, okay, well, excuse me, I'm just gonna watch a little bit of it just to see how good it looks. But the movie was so good, I just had to watch the whole movie for that reason, and because it looks spectacular in 4K. If you haven't seen this movie in 4K, if you got a 4K Blu-ray player at home and you got a 4K TV, particularly a Samsung or an LG, please check this movie out in 4K. It looks spectacular. So once again, and if you haven't seen this movie, see this movie in 4K. But even like besides the looks, whatever, it was just a fantastic movie. It had a great story. It had a good comedy. It was motivating. Um, it was everything it was supposed to be. So shout out to Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. At the number 7 slot, I got the movie Doctor Sleep. Doctor Sleep was, in my opinion, a very good movie. And once again, it was a movie that was done differently and came from different type of um, perspective, I guess. It wasn't like the regular typical horror movie, whatever. In fact, it wasn't really scary at all. It had a couple of suspenseful scenes or whatever, but it was nothing like The Shining. Like The Shining was pretty much a horror movie, but Doctor Sleep wasn't particularly like The Shining. It was actually more so like The Craft. If you all have seen The Craft, I actually heard they were working on a sequel to The Craft, but it was actually more like The Craft than it was like The Shining. But if you haven't seen Doctor Sleep, it's worth watching. It's action in it. It's a couple of humorous parts in the movie. Um, the little girl that's like the second main character in the movie or whatever, that they're trying to chase after and capture or whatever, and steal her shine. That girl is a wonderful actress, and I love her character. She is powerful, and she knows how to use her abilities very well, and made the action scene in the movie very entertaining to watch. So if you haven't seen Doctor Sleep, please see Doctor Sleep. Definitely one of the top movies of 2019. And at number 6, we have Glass. I almost forgot about this movie. It seemed like this movie been out forever, but it did come out earlier this year. And once again, like it was a different type of movie. M. Night Shyamalan, he kind of did what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is already doing, trying to mesh movies together, whatever. But he wasn't putting together superheroes. He was putting together different characters from different movies that he's already done in the past, and it worked very well. I actually hope that more movies go along this path or whatever. But he was the first one to do it outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or whatever. But going all the way back to Unbreakable and putting the character in Unbreakable against the character in Split, um, their fight scenes in this movie were spectacular. The storyline, it was done very well. Samuel L. Jackson's character, he was a mastermind. He did his thing very well or whatever. James McAvoy and Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. This movie just had a powerhouse of actors in it, and it did not let down. Like this movie was everything it was supposed to be. Um, I really had fun watching this film, and I definitely had to add it to my DVD collection. So if you haven't seen Glass, please watch Glass. Please watch Unbreakable and Split first, so you can really appreciate it. But then definitely see Glass. Um, and now it's getting kind of tight. So now we're at the number 5 slot, and at number 5, I got Spider-Man: Far From Home. And Spider-Man: Far From Home, once again, a spectacular movie. Um, it had Spider-Man with all of his different, well, a lot of his different uniforms. That was fun to watch. It was exciting to see like where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is trying to go after the Endgame fiasco happened. After Thanos died and everything, whatever in Endgame, like where is Spider-Man going, or where are some of the Avengers going post the Endgame movie or whatever. And this movie was a good way of kind of giving some kind of direction as far as where Spider-Man is headed post Endgame after Tony Stark, his mentor, has died and everything, whatever. So this movie was very well written. It was very well done. Had plenty of action in it. Once again, it highlighted the Spidey sense in a way that no other Spider-Man movie has done before. And the Spidey sense scene of this movie was probably the best scene of this entire film. And I love this movie for that. So shout out to Spider-Man Far From Home. Very entertaining movie. Um, and after Spider-Man Far From Home, once again, this is where I get into a couple of debates with my wife about the number four versus the number three spot. But this is my list once again. So at number four, I got my boy Joker. Joker is at the number four slot, and I got this at the number four slot because um, what can you really say bad about the Joker movie? Like Joker was awesome. It was well written. It was funny in some parts, but not too funny. Where it was like a comedy. It was just really dark humor. It was brutal and graphic and bloody in some parts. It was dramatic in some parts. It was dark. Oh my gosh, Joker was everything. Joaquin Phoenix, he did his thing. Great actor, great acting in this movie. I totally went into this movie being upset because I was just like, nobody's gonna be as good as Heath Ledger. Nobody's gonna be as good as Heath Ledger, and he came in, did his thing, didn't try to be like Heath Ledger. He did his own Joker, and it worked so very well. And I cannot like Joaquin Phoenix. You're the man. Um, I can't say enough about your work in the Joker movie. But Joker was awesome. It was unpredictable. It was mysterious. You had to go after the movie and watch YouTube videos. Like, did he really kill this person, or what? Did this all really happen? And um, or was he just making all of this up? Like, what really happened in the Joker movie, or whatever? So, I love the Joker movie for that purpose, and it was just a very well put together movie. I can't wait for it to come out on DVD so I can rewatch it again. But after Joker, I have to put the movie at the number three spot. I have to put the movie Us by Jordan Peele. So, and this is where I get into the debate with my wife because she feel like the Joker was a slightly better movie, but I have to give us I guess the the tipping point or the head or whatever, just a little bit. It wasn't much better than Joker, but I will give it like I will give it the lead over the Joker slightly, only because I feel like there were so many layers in Us. Like Jordan Peele is a mastermind when it comes down to um, putting like different layers in, or a lot of layers in different movies. In this movie, you got socialism, you got you got horror, you got suspense, you got mystery, you got comedy, you got you got just all these layers in this one movie, and it was done so well and it worked like masterfully. Like it was just perfectly put together. And like Jordan Peele, I take my hat off to him, man. He Us was great. And I feel like anytime you leave a movie and you have to get on the internet and do research about the movie to find out, did you really see everything that you were supposed to see, and what were all the mysterious things in the movie that you didn't see, and you got to do like research to find out, okay, well, did I miss it? What did I miss in this movie or whatever? Kind of like, hey, you had to most likely do for Get Out. Anytime a movie makes you do that, it's done its job and it's a great movie. So Us definitely made you do that. But once again, like Joker versus Us, I feel like I growing up I heard, which I'm not exactly sure if it's pretty accurate or not, but I heard that there was a debate with the Mona Lisa painting, and with the Mona Lisa painting, some people say that the Mona Lisa is smiling in the picture. Some people say that she's not smiling or whatever. It was like a debate about whether she was smiling or not. It was very minute. But for the joke, well, I feel like that the Mona Lisa painting is a prime example of um what the Joker, well, what Us was in comparison to what the Joker did. So with Us, and let me break it down. So with Us, I feel like that Jordan Peele painted lips on the Mona Lisa and was like, okay, well, if you want to say that she's smiling, she's smiling. If you don't want to say if she look like she's frowning to you, then she's whatever your interpretation is. That's what you can leave with or whatever. I'm not gonna say anything about it and spoil it for you or whatever. Whatever your interpretation of it is, that's what happens, or that's what you leave with or whatever. So that way you leave with a sense of closure. That's what Jordan Peele's Us did for me. With the Joker movie, the end of the Joker movie was just like he painted a Mona Lisa and didn't put lips on there. And it was just like, okay, well, you don't know what happened at the end of the movie. And you're just not gonna know what happened at the end of the movie. You're just not gonna have no closure. It was a great ending, and well, it was a very good ending, whatever. But it leaves you like what happened? Like, please tell me. Let me get on the internet. Let me find out. Like, let me look at interviews, whatever. What happened? What really was going on? Did this really happen? Did this not really happen? Did he really kill the black lady? Or like what? Like what happened at the end of the movie? Did he kill the psychiatrist? Like, well, it was just too many question marks. I feel like because the movie, I like the fact that you give me some mystery in the movie or whatever, but still leave me with some sense of closure. But I feel like that Jordan Peele's, because he gave me closure in the Us movie, I feel like that his ending to Us was a better ending than the Joker was. So once again, that's the reason. Well, that's one of the reasons why I had to give Us the number 3 spot and Joker number 4. So I feel like I just talked a whole lot in that one. But anyway, in the area because I already know the video is long at this point. Um, at the number 2 spot, I gotta give it to, and you probably already know, like at this point, what the number 2 and the number 1 movie is. But at the number 2 spot, I have to give it to Avengers Endgame. No, I did not give them the number 1 spot. I'm sorry, but most of y'all probably agree with me. But Endgame was a spectacular movie. It was action packed. It was a great way to finalize the current phase or the phase 4, whatever, of the MCU or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was great for nostalgia purposes and going back and seeing or rewatching different scenes of some of the past Marvel movies or whatever, or like hearing some of the characters reference back to certain scenes in some of the other movies or whatever, and seeing like the huge climactic finale scene, the action scene at the end of the movie, where all of these characters come together and join forces in one fight against Thanos and all of his minions and everything or whatever. All of these movies with Black Panther and Captain America and Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy, all of these Captain Marvel, all of these characters, they had their own individual movies, and they come together for this big, huge finale, climactic scene, and it was just beautiful to watch. And this movie was just a great movie. But it did have its flaws or whatever. I personally felt like Avengers Infinity War was actually a better movie. It was, in my opinion, a better action movie. But the only thing I like about Infinity War is the fact that everybody didn't get justified or whatever. But of course, they had to save that for Endgame. But I loved Endgame. It was a great send off to Tony Stark and Captain America, and it was just a great movie or whatever. So it definitely deserves the number 2 spot. The number 1 spot for 2019, the number 1 movie of 2019. I have to give it to my boy, John Wick. John Wick 3, Parabellum, was the number 1, in my opinion, the number 1 movie of 2019. This movie had so much action in it. Action packed. It goes even deeper into the underworld of the hidden society of the assassins or whatever in their culture or whatever, and John Wick just has like how many different ways can you kill somebody with a gun? Like how many different ways can like who thinks of this stuff? And it was just John Wick is just a master. Keanu Reeves, he does this character so well. Shout out to Halle Berry. She brought out the dogs, and the dogs is just doing just nasty stuff in this movie. It was just, and that was, in my opinion, the best scene of the movie. Like just watching Halle Berry do her thing with the dogs and everything or whatever. The best scene in the movie. But John Wick and Keanu Reeves, he wasn't half stepping at all. The last scene in the movie was spectacular. Um, Left us on a cliffhanger at the end of the movie. Look forward to John Wick 4. The John Wick franchise is the one franchise that I can honestly say, or one of the few franchises that I can honestly say, each movie is just as good as the first one. John Wick 1 was a great movie. John Wick 2 was a great movie. John Wick 3 was still a great movie. Each one of these movies was just as good as the other one. And this movie was just, and it didn't have a lot of layers in it. Like it wasn't like drama and a whole lot of comedy. You had a couple of chuckles, whatever, but it was just like mysterious, and it didn't have a whole lot of layers in this movie, but it was just so great that, and it has so much rewatch value. This movie has to be number one. Like this movie was just a spectacular movie, and there is hardly anything negative that I can say about this film, besides the fact that I didn't want to see it go off. I didn't want to have to wait till another John Wick 4. I want to see everything in John Wick 3. But that's about it. I apologize for this video being so long, but it is what it is. It's the end of 2019, and this is my top 10 list of movies in 2019. If you haven't seen any movie that was on this list, please make time to go and check whichever movie was out or whatever, um, and add it to your DVD collection if you have one. Um, but that's it. I'm looking forward to the movies coming out in 2020, and I am also going to be coming to you guys very shortly with a worst movie list of 2019. So, and I'm just going to do 5 movies for this, so hopefully that movie video or that review video won't be as long as this one. But top 5 worst movies of 2019 coming soon. I will holler at you guys later. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to my page if you like this video. If you don't like the video, just come and check me out at ReelThoughts.net. Everything that you want to see related to movies is at ReelThoughts.net. I got movie clips of the week, DVD clips of the week, movie reviews, whatever related to movies. It's all at ReelThoughts.net. I will holler at you guys later. Happy New Year!